women in the U.S. are victims of abuse every year, and our next guest was one of those women. She's a Lebanese-American writer, actress, and entrepreneur who has written a very revealing memoir about the struggle she has faced. Today, Nadia Sahari is here to talk about Breakaway, How I Survived Abuse. This is her latest book, so we want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You have such a powerful message to share, and I kind of want to jump right into your story, because when people hear the word abuse, they think just physically getting beat, but there's so many different types of abuse, and you tell us the type you have experienced, because it's been a lot.
Yes. Well, it started at 5 years old when I was sexually molested by my grandfather. And that lasted about 3 years. And then physical abuse from my father from the time I was 13 till I was 17. And then I got married. Well, I was date raped. I have to go there. 17 years old. Date raped and had an illegal abortion. And which I didn't know was happening. And it was illegal at the time, and she took a garden hose, a 4-inch garden hose, and rammed it inside of me, and almost cost me my life. And then I got married, thinking everything was going to be wonderful. Turned out to be another nightmare. And he was an alcoholic, and he was abusive. I had domestic violence for 3 years with him. Beat me when I was pregnant. Put me in the hospital, almost lost my life again, and my baby. And I survived that. They prayed prayers, healed me overnight.
Oh my gosh.
And I survived it. And then I only had one person in my life to help me at that time, and that was my cousin. She actually saved my life every single time.
She saved your life. Now, there's millions of women going through this, even children that are going through this type of abuse. How do you get out of it? How do you escape? Because I imagine, you know, to people that haven't experienced or endured that, they think, why don't they just leave?
Right.
But it's not that easy, and it's a whole process. How did you get out?
It's not easy, and I didn't get out right away. I stayed in it for a long time. Well, in my day, when I was going through it, there were no organizations. And like I said, I just had one cousin who was a relative who was helpful. But now, today, there's no reason to stay in abuse. If you can just be strong enough and go to the organizations, call them up, tell your relatives, get someone you can trust, talk to them, tell them what's going on in your life. Don't keep it silent, because that silence is what keeps us in bondage.
Why is it, do you think, it seems that women who have been caught in abuse get stuck in almost a cycle to where they keep going into the same kind of situations, kind of like yourself. Like, how does that happen? How can you change yourself or the way of thinking to not do that anymore?
It takes a long time. It takes healing. It takes forgiveness to break that. And you do that because you're wanting someone to love you. And if your father abused you, you're looking for that father's love. And when you hear the word love, you think, someone loves me. And you just are in the same situation. And because your self-esteem, your self-image is so poor, you attract the same men that abused you in the past.
Well, I imagine women would feel so full of shame and so embarrassed by what they've been through that they would, I mean, just, I can't imagine.
Shouldn't, because it's not our fault. We had no control over it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We didn't do anything. It was done to us. And as I say in my book, Breakaway, it is by choice and not by chances that we change our circumstances. And we have to make that choice to change it, to change our lives, to forgive our abusers and to go on. And by forgiving and leaving the abuser, we free the abuser as well.
And you really, it has to be something in yourself. You say, I'm done.
You have to.
I'm done.
Yeah, you have to. If you have children, you have to do it for your children's sake, because they watch and they see. They grow up doing the same thing. And it's a perpetual thing that just keeps going and going and going. And if you just get out before it's too late. Before you're killed, before your children get killed, or before your children become abusers themselves.
It's such a scary, scary thing, and we read, it gets very detailed in your book. And tell us why you decided this book. What is your hope for this book?
My hope is, and it's doing it, it's working, it's giving hope, inspiration, and encouragement to women who are going through abuse, who know someone who's going through abuse. And it's remarkable what's going on with this book. I am so grateful.
I think a good thing about this book is it lets a lot of people know you're not alone.
We're not alone, and no one is alone. We all have that, and I have 26 organizations in the back that people can go to and call for any kind of abuse.
Well, fantastic. It's a great book. Again, if you are interested, it's called Breakaway, How I Survived Abuse. To order a copy, you can go to her website, NadiaSahari.com. And of course, we'll have this information for you at kens5.com/greatday. Nadia, thank you so much for sharing your story and for inspiring others. We'll be right back, everybody.